This is my first this or that in a really long time. Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare and sometimes self-care. So if that's your vibe, please consider hitting subscribe. And today I am going to be doing the 18th installment of this or that. I did take a little bit of a break, but I am back and I'm really excited about my trio of battles for you. First, we're going to do a showdown between two mineral sunscreens from Prem and Isntree. Then I'm going to be talking about Centella single extract essences from Dewy Tree and One Thing. And then we're going to wrap things up with a ceramide battle between AmpleN and RNW. So if you are so ready for this or that, give the video a big thumbs up and let's get started. So let's start off with our sunscreen battle between the Prem Defense Me Calming Sun Cream versus Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Natural Sun Cream. So let's start with the Prem. This is a zinc oxide only mineral sunscreen. So there's no titanium dioxide here, and it is offering SPF 50 PA++ protection. Now zinc oxide really can do it all when it comes to a sunscreen. It does cover UVB and UVA1 and 2. It is considered a very stable and very broad spectrum sunscreen filter, so it definitely is providing good protection here. Now the Prem sunscreen has been tested, which does seem to be the standard now with Korean sunscreens to release those testing standards, and the test found the average SPF protection to be about 50.3 and the PFA to be 17. So I would call this a medium moisturizing mineral sunscreen. The consistency is really easy to spread across the skin. It's got pretty nice absorb time. It's not like really thick and like you really have to work it in. It's got really nice glide across the skin, and you can tell that it is offering some moisturization, a little bit of emolliency into the skin. Now my skin type is pretty combination, a little bit more on the dry side, and I definitely did appreciate the moisture that it was providing to my skin. It did not feel heavy. It did not feel like sealed off or suffocating my skin like some mineral sunscreens can, right? So it just felt like really pleasant, but definitely there's a moisturizing factor here that I think oilier skin types actually may not appreciate and may even classify as maybe a little bit greasy. But on my combination skin, I didn't get that at all. It felt actually pretty pleasant and really easy to apply. There definitely is a white cast to this. With mineral sunscreen, it's pretty hard to get away from, right? So it is definitely noticeable on my skin. I definitely was getting a hint of it. It's not terrible. It's definitely doable. There's worse ones out there, but it is going to be a little bit more obvious, and especially with those who are blessed with melanin, it's going to become even more obvious. Now, as you may know, mineral sunscreens can sometimes have like a drying factor to them. They can make your skin feel quite dry, maybe even a little bit dehydrated and tight. And that is something that I experience with pretty much every single mineral sunscreen I have ever encountered. They are really difficult for my skin. I'm very picky. And so this is something that I like to include in my reviews of mineral sunscreen because I know I'm not alone in this. So the drying factor of this sunscreen, I actually found it to not be too bad. It's definitely there. Like, you know, I can't escape it. It is there, but it's actually not that bad, and my skin tolerated this pretty well throughout the day. So I'm going to rank it as a fairly low drying factor, but it's definitely present, and those who are sensitive to that factor, you know, please know that there is going to be a little bit of that here at play. All right, let's move on to the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Sun Cream. Now this is also a sunscreen that's only using zinc oxide to provide the sunscreen protection. Now testing is also available for this, and the test did find the SPF average to be 51.A with a PFA of 18.2. So as far as scent goes, this is another unfragranced sunscreen. There's no fragrant ingredients, essential oils, there's no drying alcohol here, and there's really no like masking plant or fruit extracts here either. And when you smell the cream, cream, I mean, you really got to get your nose in there. You're really just going to get that sunscreen smell. It's not heavy. It doesn't linger, but it just smells like the zinc oxide. Now, the texture is thin. It's got really great spread across the skin. And as you do work it into your skin, you're going to feel a little bit of hydration, which is really pleasant, and a touch, like a whisper of moisture. It feels really light and breathable on the skin. You don't get that heavy feeling at all. And I would say, you know, finish wise, it's really minimal. I don't really notice like a shiny finish on this at all. Of course, the moisturization here is a little bit less than Make Prem, so I find the finish of this to definitely not be super duper shiny. You will notice a white cast on this. Like I said, it is hard to get away with mineral sunscreens and not see a little bit of something, but I will say this is pretty minimal. It is pretty faint. It's definitely workable, and I do think that in the grand scheme of things, you know, the white cast here is definitely on the lower end. So this or that, and I actually don't think either one of these products is bad. You know, I actually enjoyed both of them for different reasons, but there are some differences here that I think could really make or break the decision between these two products for you. So let me break it down. One of the biggest ones is the texture. The Make Prem is a lot more moisturizing, and remember, I said it was a little bit more on the medium weight side of sunscreens, where the Isntree is a little bit lighter on the skin. It's not as moisturizing, and in fact, you know, I think the Make Prem, after a while, although I love the moisture, my skin is on the drier side. I do feel like this is the sunscreen that made me kind of greasy in the middle of the afternoon. And part of my testing process was doing a half and half. You know, I love this. Putting the Make Prem on one half of my face and the Isntree on the other half. And in the middle of the afternoon, the Make Prem side was a lot greasier. Even just to my fingertips, I could feel like the grease on top of my skin. Whereas the Isntree, really not that much. So not only, you know, is it a little bit more matte in the initial finish, I think it doesn't contribute to excessive oil or a greasy feeling in the middle of the day. Now, white cast is a big factor here too. The Make Prem has a much more noticeable white cast. Well, I don't think it's really like too bad, honestly. When we're doing a side-by-side comparison here, Make Prem has a heavier white cast than Isntree does. Now, this is something that I noticed, especially with like darker eyebrows, is mineral sunscreens, some of them tend to kind of clump up around my eyebrows, and the Make Prem did, the Isntree really didn't, and that is going to be something that's going to be a consideration for those of you who maybe have a similar eyebrow situation. But I'm also thinking like beards, you know, sunscreen and beards, you know, it can get kind of clumpy and look kind of weird. Make Prem may not be the most like beard friendly or like hair friendly sunscreen, and definitely it's got a little bit more of a white cast than the Isntree does. Now, on the drying factor, I think these were like equally drying, but not terribly so. Does that make sense? This is just something I'm super sensitive to in mineral sunscreens, and I didn't find one to be more drying than the other. They both had me feeling a little bit dry and a little bit tight by the end of the day. So my verdict here, you know, Isntree definitely is coming out ahead in each category. It's doing really well, and I do think this would be my choice if you are on the oilier side of things, because it's so much lighter. But I still actually like the Make Prem sunscreen because I love a little bit of moisture. Even with the grease factor aside, I do like a little bit more moisture from my sunscreen, and my skin, like I said, a little bit of drying, but not too bad. I was still fairly comfortable with this, and that's a big feat for mineral sunscreen and my skin. So I do think that both of them are good, but if you want more moisture, go with Make Prem. If you want something a little bit lighter, a little bit more breathable, Isntree is a great choice. All right, let's talk about the single extract Centella essences from Dewy. This is their Cica 100 essence versus One Thing Centella extract. So a single extract essence is really just using one star ingredient in a very, very high percentage. And in this case, it's going to be Centella. So good thing to know here is there's definitely some water and some preservatives in these essences, but it's not going to be combined with like panthenol or niacinamide or maybe other fermented ingredients. They're just focusing on Centella to do all the magic on your skin. And that's really what a single extract essence is in K-Beauty. And these are two really great examples of that. Now let's talk about the Dewy Tree essence. It is quite thin in consistency. There is no moisture here. There's no body. And that is purely coming down to the fact, again, like all all that's in here is Centella and water. And so that's reflected in the texture. It absorbs very quickly into the skin. If you wanted to layer this onto your skin, you easily could without building up thickness. So the one thing, texture is similar, but it's actually a lot thinner feeling. It absorbs a little bit quicker into the skin. And yeah, again, if you wanted to layer this up onto your skin, you definitely could. With both of these products, the one thing I want to tell you is just kind of adjust your expectations if you've never used something like this before. These are not really hydrating products. Now, that doesn't mean that your skin isn't going to feel some hydration from them. That's not what I'm saying, but they're not going to be as deeply replenishing to your skin as, say, a toner or maybe even like a serum would be, because there are no other humectants in here. And that's kind of the drawback sometimes to these single extract products. If there's nothing else going on to really enhance the formula, there's only so much it can do for your skin. So this or that, and I actually have a very biased answer on this. My choice is the Dewy Tree. I think that this is the more superior Centella single extract essence product between the two. Now, I said biased because it really is just based on my experience and my skin. I do always try to be a little bit diplomatic and try to think about different viewpoints and different skin types. That's really important to me and to our community that we're building here on this channel. However, there's some things I want to point out about the one thing that just make it not quite the right choice for my sensitive skin. And this is actually, if you remember when I reviewed their mugwort extract from, I think about a year ago now, it's the same issue. And that's that this extract of Centella, although it is only Centella and preservatives and water, you do have to extract the Centella in some type of solution, right? You can't just like pick the Centella and like crush it up. It does have to be extracted. Sometimes that is done with water, and sometimes that is done with alcohol, like denatured alcohol. And that is what my skin is reacting to every single time I put this on my skin. It goes red, it gets inflamed, and it feels very irritated and very sensitive. I really tried to test this out because I was like, please don't be the same thing again. And like on the second time that I was trying this out, I had to wash my face. I couldn't even stand to have it on my face like for 5 minutes because the irritation was just so present, and my skin just felt like it was just getting so sensitized. And that is just down to the fact that there's like a drying alcohol presence in this formula, even though it's not on the ingredients list. So that may not be a bad thing for some people. I mean, a lot of people are able to tolerate drying alcohol in their skincare products, no problem. If that's you, I do think that this is a good option. I really do. Obviously, you can tell there's a good amount of Centella in here. It's just there's also a good amount of alcohol in here too that may not, be great for sensitive skin. Now, beyond the sensitive skin issue, I just think that Dewy Tree is a little bit of a more pleasant product to use. As I said, these definitely aren't toners in terms of hydration, but I do think the Dewy Tree does offer a little bit more than one thing does, because that alcohol presence just really isn't there in the final product. And because I was actually able to use it long term, I can tell you it actually has a nice calming benefit on my skin. It's not like that in your face, like, my skin feels soothed, like immediately kind of feel, but it's just like, it actually helped me recover from the one thing irritation over time, just like using it. I was like, oh, okay. My skin is feeling soothed. It's feeling a little bit stronger. It's just feeling a little bit calmer. It's a subtle type of essence, but with sensitive skin, that's exactly what you need. You just need that essence that's going to be there for you time after time after time when you're feeling a little bit sensitive, when you need that little bit of calming, that inflammation reduction, that redness reduction. This has been really nice. And I was actually using it too before I started testing the one thing, and it seemed to help calm breakouts that I was having a little bit too. So that was like a really nice benefit. So I just think it's a nice formula, definitely sensitive skin friendly, and I do think that it's a good high quality extract. The one thing though, if you have stronger skin that's not particularly sensitive to alcohol, I think this is a nice product too, but I think it depends on where your skin lies in terms of sensitivity and drying alcohol. Next up, our Ceramide serum battle between the RNW Ceramide Plus serum versus the AmpleN Ceramide Shot Ampoule. So let's start with the AmpleN Ceramide Shot. Now, this does contain 3 different types of ceramides. We also have cholesterol and fatty acids acids, which you know is what I call the holy trinity of barrier supportive ingredients. So it's always nice to not only see those three in here, but also have a variety of ceramides. Other notable ingredients include aquoxyl. Now this is a ingredient trio that is so good at hydrating your skin. They are plant sugars that just really get in there and really like replenish your skin with lots of hydration. But what's also interesting about this is that not only does it hydrate, but it actually helps your skin hold on to that hydration. So it's also barrier supportive, particularly good to seek out if you do have dehydrated skin. We also have niacinamide, which is a great goodie for your barrier, and we have some macadamia seed oil. Now the texture is really one of my favorite types of serum textures, which is kind of like what I call an emulsion type of texture, because it's kind of hydrating and a little bit moisturizing all at the same time. And this texture, it feels actually a lot lighter than it looks in the bottle. From the bottle, like it looks really moisturizing, right? But as you get it onto your skin, you're going to see it like thins out, and as you're working it into your skin, you're going to feel all this hydration, this like really refreshing feel on your skin, which is like a little light moisture. It's not very much at all. It's just a little bit of balance to the skin, a little bit of emolliency. But I think that they've done this really nicely in a way that doesn't overwhelm the skin. It doesn't feel greasy or heavy, and it doesn't have like a sticky feeling after it's absorbed into your skin either. I think it feels really nice. Maybe if you were really like looking for it, you might see a little bit of dew on your skin, but that's going to go away with any layer that you put on top of this. So overall, I think the texture is really pleasant. All right, let's look at the RNW serum, and this actually has some similarities. We do have five different types of ceramides plus cholesterol and fatty acids. This also does contain niacinamide, but what's different here is we have eight different peptides. And these are peptides that are really focused on well aging, that are focused on stimulating collagen on the skin, protecting the collagen you already have, helping with elasticity and firmness, targeting fine lines and wrinkles. It's actually a really nice, well-rounded grouping of peptides that I think are just really, really great. Now, something else worth pointing out on the ingredients list is the prebiotic ingredients. This is something that's becoming a pretty big trend in skincare. You're probably seeing like pre and probiotic skincare ingredients and skincare made for your microbiome. It's definitely a really emerging and interesting area in skincare right now. This does contain colloidal oatmeal extract as well as fructooligosaccharides. Now these are prebiotic ingredients that may help to feed the good microorganisms in your microbiome. Now, if this sounds interesting, you want me to elaborate a little bit more, I have already made a video about the microbiome and how it plays a part in a healthy skin overall, and how it actually helps to support your skin's moisture barrier. So I'm going to link that right up here, but it's really interesting that there's some prebiotic ingredients in this formula that is all about your moisture barrier and about healthy skin. Now the texture of the RNW serum is a little bit more like a gel type of texture. We do have the hydration factor here, but I would say this is a little bit more moisturizing than the AmpleN serum. This definitely has a little bit more emolliency to it, but it's actually still not heavy or greasy on the skin. This is another serum I was really fully expecting to feel more moisturizing and maybe even more greasy or heavy on my skin, and it actually blew me away by how light it was versus how it looked from the bottle. So this is still something that is very light and breathable, non-sticky, non-greasy, and it's not going to leave a shiny finish on your skin. So this or that. And this is another one where I have to say I really like, enjoy, and respect both of these products. And my skin really loves actually both of these products. The RNW has been a long time recommendation on my channel. You know, I've personally used so many bottles of this, and it's something I go back to a lot. I really do like it. AmpleN is a newer addition to my like skincare collection, but I am finding myself reaching reaching for this a lot, and it has helped my skin in this like spring transition where my barrier can feel a little bit more weak just from the fluctuating temperatures and allergens and stuff in the air. My skin can feel a little extra sensitive. So the AmpleN serum has been put to the test, and I really feel like it's been passing. It's been great. I've been really enjoying this in my skincare routine. But this is a this or that battle. I know that I really do need to narrow this down and tell you what do I think is the best one when we're just narrowly looking at these two things. And I have to say, the RNW really is in a completely different league than the AmpleN. Well, both of these serums will help you with moisture barrier care and helping to strengthen up your skin. Beyond that, I say RNW is on another level because of all the other things it can do for your skin. All of those peptides, all of those prebiotic ingredients that are not only helping your microbiome, but are in turn going to help with just overall healthy skin. I just think that this serum is capable of a lot more. I think it's a more all-in-one type of product. You know, if you could only pick one serum to kind of hit all of your skincare goals, it might be RNW because it just has a little bit more of a sophisticated formula, I think, a little bit more of a multi-level approach, whereas AmpleN is so good, it's focused on the ceramides, and it does that really well, but it is a more simpler formula. Do you see where my thinking is on this? So neither one do I think is better than the other, but I really think it just comes down to what you want to achieve when you're picking out a serum. And I have to say, I am a little bit more inclined to pick a serum that's going to do more for my skin in just one step, right? Let's not overcomplicate things. If we can get more in one step, that's where I'm going to want to not only put my time and energy, but where I'm going to want to put my money too. So they're both good. They both will work for barrier care. But if you are seeking and needing just a little bit more than just a healthy barrier, I say go with the RNW. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this installment of This or That. It has been a really long time, I know, and so many of you have been saying, please bring this series back, bring it back, and I just really needed to take a break. I really needed to step back. I've been doing this for almost 3 years, the This or That series, and so it was just time to take a break. I was feeling kind of uninspired, but recently, you know, I felt like this was the right time. These were the right products to do another episode. So one thing that I always do ask you at the end of This or That is what do you want to see on the next episode, because I'm really here to help you make the decisions and think about the products that you're interested in. So let me know in the comment box below. If you loved this and you want to see some more from me, some more skincare content, please do consider hitting subscribe if you haven't already. I do release a lot of skincare content throughout the week too, different like videos, and I do shorts, so you may consider turning on notifications too so you're never out of the loop. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.